But the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
Hi once again. Welcome back to the Cincinnati Razorback Room in beautiful Northwest Arkansas. Dennis back with you again for another episode of Spinner Baseball. My sons and I, just got back from a vacation. That's why we missed last week's episode, but it was worth it, and we'll show you some of the stuff that we did because I think you're going to like it. In fact, let me just put on one of my souvenirs. Here we go. There we go. No Cincinnati Razorback would be complete without a 1919 Cincinnati Reds hat right there. One of the greatest teams ever. Beat the Chicago White Sox, who were supposed to be the greatest team ever. You think they threw the World Series? Maybe they did. Doesn't matter. Reds won. Game over. Anyway, got me a great Suvi. Cincinnati Reds hat, 1919 circa. Cincinnati Reds hat. Fun to wear, fun to do. Let's go talk in today about the in-depth part of Spinner baseball cards that we make, and we're going to deal with the offensive cards today. We're going to talk about the ratings of the players and what the inside of the player card means, and that's what we're going to deal with today. So follow along, have some fun, get out your cards, and enjoy mechanical baseball, Spinner baseball from the Cincinnati Razorback Room. We're going to start with our special guest today, Ty Cobb, the Georgia Peach, and as you can see, quite a card. We went over the outer circle a couple of weeks ago, showing you that this guy gets on base a massive amount of time. 7, 13, 9, all super nice way to go. But let's look on the inside of this card. That +2, the name, the SAC3L55 plus rating, the CF35 P3R5 that we'll talk about. We're going to explain all of those things in today's video. So let me just, let's look at something a little different. When we start, let's begin with a blank slate. The first thing that I put on a card that's relevant is the player's name. I want to know which player that I'm using. And most of the time I try to do it in bold, big letters so that it's easy to see. Now you know that I like to use the picture discs. But for the purpose of what we're doing today, I'm basically going to use a blank slate and show you what goes into the making of the inner circle. This one right here, we're going to start by putting Ty Cobb. This looks very familiar to you Spinner baseball people because this is how Catico cards are made. And so we're going to start there. First thing I put on is the name. After I have the name on, we need to know where this player can play. Ty Cobb, a Hall of Fame center fielder for the Detroit Tigers, CF meaning center field. On the Catico cards, you'll have this printed out because there is not a rating. On the bottom of the CF, below it, you'll see that I have another coded entry, the P3R5. These are his percentage of fielding based on league average and his range of fielding based on league average, which in an outfielder on the range includes his arm and assists. The percentage is based upon league fielding averages at the time. And as you can see, and they're all based on a number 1 through 5. A 1 being as low as you can get, a 5 being as high as you can get. So you can see Ty Cobb was the average percentage center fielder with a cannon for an arm and a lot of range, so he's going to get to a lot of balls. CF P3R5, tremendous outfielder, Ty Cobb. In this clip right here, there is so much new information applied right now. The ratings that are up there, there are 4 different ratings that are up there right now. And I want to go over each one of those briefly with you. We'll go more in depth as we get into more episodes. But right now we're going to read, this is how I read this, SAC 3BL S5A 5+. Everything is based on a numeric system figured on a lot of instructive statistics that are available on MLB Reference and other sources. But what this will do is tell you basically where you're going to have to set your defense for Ty Cobb in certain situations. Let's begin with the easiest one of all to interpret, and that is BL. What that means, bats left-handed. If it were BR, that would mean bats right-handed, or BB means bats both. Most of my pitching cards that I make will have a number here that designates a regular standard batting card that I use, and it will be based upon their lifetime statistics because I would much rather use their pitching card than their batting card. BL for left, R for right, B for both. This next slide that we're looking at here explains their ability to get on base via the infield hit, and it also shows you their proficiency on bunting a ball. This one is rated on a 0 to 3 top end, and they will see SAC basically is the easiest way to write that, meaning their ability to put the ball down in the infield, whether it be by Baltimore chop or by a sacrifice bunt. And we will get into strategy cards as time progresses. Note that this is based on a 0 being the worst and 3 being the best, and Ty Cobb is a tremendous user of the bat. A lot of infield hits, a lot of sacrifice bunts. We now know about his ability to put the ball in play in the infield. Let's talk about the S5 that's right there. Again, based on 0 to 5 is this rating. S stands for simply speed. How fast is this guy? I rate them on a formula that I've devised over about 25 years of how to rate these runners, and they are compared to all time. Speed is speed. How fast is this guy? How many bases does this guy steal? How often does this guy steal? That is what this is based upon. How many triples does he get? Inside the park home runs. This is what the S rating is for. 0 to 5, 5 the fastest, S0 would be the slowest. Let's look at the other rating there that's rated by number. 0 to 5 plus is this next one, and it is A. The A stands for ability. His base running ability. The ability to not get caught stealing, to go from first to third, from first to home on a double hit into the gap. That is what the A5, A4, A3 ability is rated on, and I have a formula that we use for this also that at a later time we will explain to you, just enough to say now that it is 0 to 5 plus, showing you that Ty Cobb is quite adept at running the bases. This next number that you see appearing right there, the +2, we will really get in depth into that. That is something that we have devised that really adds some excitement to the game. It is the number of respins that Ty Cobb is allowed based on the new statistic that's fairly really recent called OPS plus, adjusted OPS plus. And we're going to use this and show you more about this at later times. Now that you know what all of the numbers that are pertinent mean, there are other numbers on this card, other ratings. For example, you see that he got his number of hits at 4189 down by his right knee. Over by his right hand, it shows his lifetime batting average of 366. It shows you that he went in the Hall of Fame in 1936. A nice picture of Ty Cobb showing you his adeptness at handling a bat on a picture disc right there. The great Ty Cobb. And that's how the players of mechanical baseball are rated on the inside of the circle.